exclusive for you, is that the WBO about a month ago put out that Joe Parker, who's their interim champion, has to challenge against Usyk, and Usyk has to defend against him. He's put a letter into yesterday stating, so I found out today, stating that he's asked him for an extension period because he's injured before being ordered to do anything. But whatever happens, the fact of life is that Joe Parker will either fight as champion if Usyk vacates the title, or he will fight Usyk for the title. So it's exciting times. If Moses were to win, or even if Dillian wins, whoever wins that fight, they're in the one spot. And if the fight doesn't happen with Usyk and Joe, then Joe will have to fight the official #1 contender.
Gosh, so that should be really fascinating, shouldn't it? Thank you for that little bit of exclusive there. So are you just telling us there in that exclusive that Usyk's got an injury at the moment then? That's what he's coping with at the moment?
His camp have written to asked him for a period of time to before they have to defend the title. So we will see what happens, and the WBO, I believe, are going to put some sort of statement out either today or tomorrow on this. So I've been sort of informally told what the position is.
Tyson Fury, let's talk about him then. Of course, we were talking about his return to the ring, but it was about a wedding ring, wasn't it, that he was focusing on, marrying Paris for a third time in France, or renewing their vows. That was a nice thing for them to do, but it was dramatic, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, obviously, it was a lovely moment for them and for their family, their children, for him to do that, both of them to do that. But they had a bit of a problem on the way home with the plane, which had developed a problem, and they had to turn back, I think, after they were about 100 miles out of the airport. So that was a bit of a wobbly moment for them. But thankfully, it was they landed safe and sound.
Yeah, that is good news. Is he going to come back to the ring, do you think?
Look, I don't push him on anything. He said he wanted to, and I won't push him on it. You know, at the end of the day, he's a grown man. He's been around a long time. It's got to be his choice, and he's got to have the desire to do it. He's a very, very wealthy guy. He's made a lot of money, some serious money. He doesn't need to fight for money. I mean, obviously, he would want to get paid if he fights, but he doesn't need. It's not a desperate need that he's skint or anything. He's very well set up, but he has that. He is a fighting man, and he has that desire and that urge to fight. And he says that he wants to do it. But as I say, if he does, it won't be until next year, and it'll be on his terms.
Frank, does boxing need a Tyson Fury, do you think? Does it miss him more than he misses it, if you see what I mean?
I think it's a bit of both. I miss him because there's always a bit of fun.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people may get a bit annoyed over things, but most of the time he's entertaining. You know, things happen, and everybody loves, or maybe hates sometimes, characters in various sports. But one thing for sure, if Tyson Fury's in the house, you know he's there, and you know something's going to happen. And more importantly, he's a bloody good fighter. He's had two marvellous, magnificent fights with Usyk, very close fights, and a great trilogy of fights between him and Deontay Wilder. I mean, superb fights, and they're really great heavyweight fights. And he is, you know, for me, I miss watching him in the ring. But if he's retired and he's happy to be retired, God bless him, and I wish him the best for that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What about Anthony Joshua? You know, he's yet to confirm his plans, isn't he? He has been linked with Jake Paul. Some people want to see that fight, some people don't. And a fight against a fellow Olympic gold medalist, Tony Yoka. What do you think he'll do, and what do you think he should do, Frank?
What do I think he should do? Well, first of all, there is talk of both those fights, but I think the fight that's taking priority, certainly in his mind, and you know, I don't look after him. I look after Tony Yoka. Signed with us. Yeah, we'd like that fight, but I think the preference for AJ is for him to fight Jake Paul, because it's a huge, huge money fight. It's a crossover fight between, obviously, well, we say a YouTuber, although he's a professional boxer now and has been boxing professionally for a while now. It's a big step up for Jake Paul, and that seems to be the direction that it's going in. And as to what he should do, look, he's the guy getting in the ring. He's the guy taking the punches. That's got to be his choice.
Frank, is it the right direction that it's going in when you said that there, in terms of boxing?
I think boxing's on such a high at the moment. I mean, you know, it's flying. We're having some great fights. You know, the British scene is magnificent. Certainly in the heavyweight division. There's been some brilliant fights, some brilliant cards. Riyadh's become the world capital of boxing, which has been great. The Riyadh season fights, some fabulous fights in America. It's really lively. It's a lively situation, and you know, whatever brings eyeballs to the sport is good. I mean, but I obviously don't want to be seeing freak shows and things like that. But people complain about Jake Paul, when's he going to fight somebody? You've got to take your hat off to him that he's willing to step up and get in with a former two-time world champion who's not an old guy. You know, he's I think maybe even a year younger than Tyson. It'll be a defining moment for him to see what he's all about. I mean, I've got my opinion who I think will win the fight, but if it happens, you know, people will buy into it, and whatever way anyone wants to look at it, it will be a fight that will grab everybody's attention for right reasons and wrong reasons. But the fact is, they'll watch it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just finally, obviously, the fight that everyone wanted to see was always Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. Do you think we're ever going to see that?
Well, I can't go into detail. There has been a lot of talks about that for a long time, and it hotted up again recently. And it's all about if this fight happens with AJ, for example, if he fights against Jake Paul and he comes through that fight, and if Tyson has a fight, who knows? They will get it on. But it's a fight that has not happened and should have happened. Is it too late to happen? I think there's tremendous interest in the fight because, you know, you brought it up yourself, and every time we talk about Tyson and AJ, that subject always comes up, when they're going to get in the ring together. I can, providing Tyson wants to carry on, I can see that fight happening.
Will you make it happen, Frank?
Can I make it happen?
Yeah.
It's up to the two fighters to make it happen. You know, it's really, really up to them. And if they both want it, and if the terms are right for both of them, it will definitely happen. But you know, nobody's going to force them into it. These are not two young guys. These are two guys who've been around the block. They're both multi heavyweight world champions. They've won it at different stages, and you can imagine if that was on, I think that's going to be something that's going to be huge.